When you hear about North Korea, what springs to mind? Perhaps it's the specter of nuclear weapons, the enigmatic figure of Kim Jong-un, or maybe just a blank space, given the country's tight veil of secrecy. North Korea isn't exactly topping anyone's list of dream vacation destinations, even though it's technically open to visitors, except for those from the United States and Israel. But admit it, don't you feel a tinge of curiosity about the day-to-day lives of people in North Korea? Alright, buckle up, because I'm about to take you on a virtual journey into Kim Jong-un's domain. Just a heads up, we've got some ground rules to follow. No politics or religion talk, and definitely no snapping random photos, got it? Now let's talk logistics. If you're planning to visit North Korea, your ticket in is through Koryo Air. That means you'll be making a pit stop in Beijing first, as all flights to North Korea require a layover in China. Here's where things get interesting. Once you set foot in North Korea, prepare to step back in time. Way back. You see, they operate on a calendar system that's a little different from what you're used to. It's called the Juche calendar, or the DPRK calendar. And in case you didn't know, DPRK stands for Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Remember, they're a stickler for terminology over there, so it's best not to refer to it as just North Korea. Let's unpack this calendar situation. The Juche calendar kicks off with the birth year of Kim Il-sung, the founding father of the DPRK, born in 1912. That's why when you touch down in North Korea, you might find yourself suddenly transported to the year 111. It's all part of their unique timekeeping system. This calendar was officially adopted on September 9, 1997, which conveniently aligns with the National Day of the Republic. Since then, everything from newspapers to public transport schedules has been running on Juche time. So if you're ever in North Korea and someone asks for the date, don't be surprised if they tell you it's 111. Let's put the calendar talk on pause for a moment and dive into another fascinating aspect of North Korea. But before we venture further, there's a rule you need to know. When exploring this country, you won't be going solo. Nope, it's mandatory to have a tour guide, handpicked by the government. So consider them your official chaperone, not just any old local cop. Now, if you're hoping to catch sight of some young, attractive folks around here, you might find it a tad tricky. You see, many of the girls you'll come across are part of a special group called the Happiness Brigade, or as they call it in Korean, the Gipyeomjo. These girls aren't your average entertainers. They're handpicked to serve the elite circles of Kim Jong-un's regime. The Gipyeomjo recruits girls as young as 13 and up to 15, based on a strict set of criteria. They've got to have looks that could stop traffic, voices as smooth as silk, and stand tall at a minimum of 170 centimeters. And here's the kicker. They have to be fresh. Translation: they're plucked from their families, isolated with others like them, and signed into a 10-year contract. Opting out? Not an option. Their lives literally depend on it. Now you might be thinking, hey, didn't they do away with this whole setup? Well, they did. But then in 2015, it made a comeback. And here's the thing. After 25 years of entertaining, these women retire from the spotlight. But that's not the end of the story. They're often married off to high-ranking politicos, ensuring that the inner workings of the entertainment squad stay shrouded in secrecy. So you're still contemplating sticking around in North Korea despite its plethora of peculiar rules? Well, if you're finding it a tough nut to crack, just imagine what it's like for the folks who call this place home. Remember that viral tale about the ban on laughter for a whopping 11 days? Yeah, that actually happened. It was during a period of mourning to mark the 10th anniversary of Kim Jong-il's passing. And get this, even those dealing with personal tragedies weren't allowed to let out a sob. Now let me pose the question again. Could you hack it living in this neck of the woods? Picture this. President Kim Jong-un has a knack for showing up unannounced at factories, keeping everyone on their toes. These surprise inspections? They're like a pressure cooker of stress, seen by many as a direct threat. Fail to show the proper deference, and it's not just you who's in hot water. Your whole family could be shipped off to re-education camps. So what's the safest bet? Well, some might argue it's to keep your lips zipped, avoiding any slip-ups. Heck, you might even consider holding your breath, just like the poor soul in this tale. Alright, if you're dead set on sticking around, let's keep our journey rolling, all under the watchful eye of your ever-present tour guide. They'll be shadowing your every move, from the crack of dawn till you're back in your hotel bed. Now, before we lace up our exploring boots, there's a little ritual you've got to follow. You'll need to bow respectfully before the towering statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. And when you're snapping shots of these monuments, make sure they're fully captured in the frame. No cutting corners here. Now about those photos you're itching to take. Sure, you can snap away, but don't expect free rein. There are some areas where the camera's gotta stay tucked away. We're talking military bases, checkpoints, and anything with a uniformed soldier. And trust me, don't even think about pointing that lens at them in unofficial settings, especially if they're caught off guard. No snoozing soldiers or worn-out warriors in your photo reel. That's the #1 rule. No capturing them in less than dignified moments. So tread carefully, my friend. Before you start clicking away with your camera, here's a golden rule. Check in with your trusty tour guide first. They're the gatekeepers of what's allowed and what's off limits when it comes to photography. And here's a heads up. Your camera might get a once-over just to ensure you're not sneaking any prohibited shots. Because let's face it, getting caught with the wrong pics could land you in some seriously hot water. Think camera confiscation, or worse, a stint behind bars. And hey, it's not just your camera that's under scrutiny here. Your every move is under the microscope, right down to your haircut. Yup, you heard that right. The North Korean government's got a say in your hairstyle too. Picture this. When you stroll into a salon, you'll be handed a menu, not for lunch, but for approved haircuts. 15 styles for the ladies, 15 for the gents. But here's the kicker. You won't find Kim Jong-un's signature due on that list. Nope, that's strictly off limits for copying. Oh, and here's a fun fact for you. Married women and single ladies rock different hair lengths as a status symbol. Short means married and long means single. Now fellas, don't think you're off the hook. Your locks are governed too. Keep that hair under 5 centimeters unless you've got a few gray hairs peeking through. Then you can stretch it a bit. And just when you thought it couldn't get any stricter, cue the fashion police. Yup, they're real, patrolling the streets day in, day out. Step out of line with your hairstyle, and you might just find yourself on the wrong side of a fine or worse, a one-way ticket to the big house. As you wander through the streets of North Korea, you'll notice something quite striking. The traffic is managed not by burly officers in uniform, but by elegantly poised women. Yep, in this neck of the woods, directing traffic is a job reserved for the ladies, and it's one that's highly sought after. But let me tell you, snagging a gig as a traffic police officer isn't a walk in the park. Nope, not just any gal can stand tall in the middle of the road, commanding traffic with finesse. The selection process? Oh, it's as tough as they come. You've got to tick all the boxes, attractive, young, and unattached. Why? Because these women are the face of Pyongyang, representing the city's image with every wave of their baton. Now, age is a biggie here. In North Korea, women usually tie the knot around the ripe old age of 26 or 27. So once they hit that milestone, it's time for a career change. Rumor has it that these traffic police officers are handpicked by none other than the big man himself, Kim Jong-un. Alright, done with your sightseeing? Well, you might want to snag yourself a little memento to remember your time in North Korea. Just remember, stick to the government-approved stores if you want to take home a piece of the action.